Hey, welcome.
Guys, we're here.
Welcome
Second try is the charm.
to the Neely podcast.
The Neil Bill podcast.
Oh,
We
man.
had started one, and then I realized I had forgotten to put the SD card back in the good old Zoom Pod 8. And, I could probably pinpoint the reason why I forgot to do that. It probably just slipped my mind.
Probably did.
Probably slipped my
Probably
mind.
thought that there was something in there already.
Yeah.
You were probably preparing to do a podcast earlier.
I was probably, yeah. Or I was trying to do something on my computer, but I've been fucked up for about 3 weeks, and stuff gets slightly askew in my life when I get fucked up for any length of time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to go back to we were being real authentic and genuine right at the beginning of that other one.
Yeah.
Then I was like,
Being all eugenic and stuff.
we're being all eugenic.
That was a mistake we made in the last
Billy
one.
and I have decided to do a podcast because I got out of the psych ward today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the second time in Austin. Not the third time going. Third time going to the emergency room. Just another relapse adventure for Taylor. And the last time they were asking, will the next one kill him? No, it did not. I don't know which one it'll be, but
It won't be fucking...
no one wants to find out.
It won't
That's
be
what we're
around when
saying.
I'm here. Fuck that.
it'll be when I'm very old.
Yeah, it'll be when you're very old. Just a 67.
It'll be when I'm really old and there's no Billy to rescue me.
Yeah, I would die the year prior.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Fucking Neely is back. I'm happy to have him back, but this has been a very...
This feels like an appropriate way to get back in, because one of my problems with why I relapse is when I'm not being very productive. Mm-hmm. I feel a lot of shame around not being very productive, and this does make me feel productive.
I'm curious on the shame. You just what do you feel? What is it that you fucking...
It's like guilt
in your head that you just
that I'm not accomplishing stuff.
Yeah.
When I could be accomplishing stuff. And I think a big part of it is the internet doesn't help, because I see people accomplishing stuff on the internet all the time. I forgot I have a big dry spot right here.
I was gonna shave my unibrow today, but I forgot to because I fucking...
That's what friends are for.
Yeah.
And Billy actually was a very good friend. He checked on me a lot. I had a lot of people checking in on me, and we were talking about this earlier. It's for I just have a lot of people. I've talked about this on this podcast before, but we don't know if this is going to be funny or if this is going to be sad.
It's probably going to be a lot of both.
It doesn't fucking matter.
I'm already crying.
And I need to let go of some walls around that when I podcast. It's easier in person, but sometimes podcasting puts a wall up. But it's been clear to me for a while now, but especially clear now. I have a lot of people that care about me and don't want to see me do something bad, and I probably would be dead if it weren't for Billy and other people. And I still reached out once it was a little too late. I should have reached out earlier and been like, hey, I'm getting real fucked up.
Dude, I got some peeves with relapsing Neely. I got some fucking peeves, dude. I hit him up. So it's been a little while. Where I really got the
I'm getting water.
Can you get me a water as well, please?
But yeah.
I felt, so it's been a little bit with Neely. He's been struggling quietly for a little while. And this always happens. This isn't actually, you're not the first alcoholic that I've had to help before. You're actually the second one. I forgot, but I initiated a fucking family intervention at my house with my ex's brother. He was struggling too, and that one was less emotional. But no, Neely was struggling for a little bit, but we got him back. We got him the help he needed. We got him out of here for a couple of days and got him back, thankfully. Today, picked him up from the psych ward. Very nice psych ward, honestly. Smelled delicious in there. The other one was better? Where? I don't want to name them or anything because they're very helpful people. But I found out at the Kill Tony show that you had relapsed on alcohol. Now,
but I was also on Adderall.
You were all on that day?
Yes, it was the last Adderall that I had.
Yeah, this is the thing with Taylor. He's very
Sneaky.
very sneaky boy.
And I'm good at being sneaky, so maybe that's why I think I can get away with it too easy. There's a point to where sneakiness is good up until a point, and then yes,
then you can't hold
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
anymore.
and then when you're here, I'm like, I don't want to be sneaky anymore. Please call the police.
Yeah. No, when the thing is like your sneakiness is very similar to the other guy's sneakiness that I helped with.
Yeah.
There was so. I'll tell his story just so we can see that there's commonalities between these, like your minds, where he came over. We didn't know about his drinking habits. We did know that he had like extreme IBS. Like this kid's stomach was just fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
But we just thought it was IBS, and we just thought it was a thing that he had to deal with. And then he ends up going to the AC. See, this is what happens when you're out of the game for so long. You forget all the intricate little parts. You guys get to see a little bit behind the curtain here on how much, on how yeah, where we can hear it from the hallway. No, but so he would drink a shit ton, but he ended up coming over to our house because he lived up in Jacksonville, and he came to our house and he stayed, and he had asked his girlfriend, he told his girlfriend, like, hey, I'm going to stay for an extra day so I can hang out with my sister. But me and his sister both had work the next day, so he was home alone all day. And when I came home, I was the first person to see him when I came home. And he was just in a great fucking mood. He was just in a phenomenal mood. He was laughing, he was giggling, and he necessarily was not like that all the time. Mm-hmm. But I just chalked it up to him having a good day by himself. I didn't think that, he wanted to be around his girlfriend. Yeah. And then he passed out on the couch. My ex went through his bag and found 2 empty handles of Jack Daniels, which he
like
had,
the pints.
Yeah, the big fucking.
Oh, the big ones.
The big.
How
ones.
big? Like
this is the handle, and then it's the fucking square.
Square. So the handle is a liter or 750 milliliters.
It was a liter. It had to have been at least a liter.
Yeah, that was a liter. I think they make 2 sizes. It doesn't matter, but
it's not the really fucking gigantic.
Yeah,
one.
I think that's a gallon.
Yeah, it's the smaller, but it's still a fucking glass brick, and 2 of those, and he crushed those 2 over the course of 3 days, which I honestly was like, that's fucking unreal. Like I can't even handle.
There's part of it that's like, wow, that is impressive that the body can do that.
The body, because he's built up such a tolerance. Okay. Because I can't. I drink beer almost every.
Oh, I
day.
mean, you walked in those bottles of wine. I would drink one, and I would stop.
Chardonnay. That was the drink of choice.
It's still like that was my last drink.
That was your last drink of choice.
But I stopped feeling it so quick. So over the course of like from 8:30 a.m. to when did you come see me?
Yesterday.
Yeah. So it was. It was like over the course of.
I came over at like 3 because I was getting text at like 2 something, 1 something maybe.
I probably drank 3 bottles I probably drank a bottle of wine an hour, which probably isn't that much.
When I saw you, that was a lot.
But it accumulates. Like that hour. Once that hour is done, it's not like the effects from the first bottle go away.
Yeah, it stacks.
Yeah.
But then also another thing that is very obvious is every drug or every substance that you use, and I'm saying you as me too, but it always comes in waves. The way that shrooms comes in waves, the way that fucking cocaine will happen in waves, all of it always happens in waves. And with alcohol, it's like you get that initial buzz and then you kind of get used to it, but it's not necessarily a wave. You just plateau and then you think that you're coming down.
Yeah.
So you stack up again, and now you're at such a high cliff. When you fall off, it's a bad fall off.
Got hiccups?
Yeah, a little hickey.
That's all right. I could give you a little hickey.
Almost spit up on your shit. But yeah, the Kill Tony was the first day. And for someone on my standpoint, kind of watching it is kind of hard because I'm not an addict in my mind. So then after that day happens, I'd pick him up the next day to take him to his truck and just think everything's kind of not back to normal. Know that there's still struggles.
I think if I recall, I wasn't blacked out, but I was like not there completely. I think what happened that morning for you to take me to my truck, I think I took some Molly. I drank a bottle of wine. What time did you take me to my truck?
Oh, I picked you up at 10.
No.
Yeah, I picked you up at 10.
Well, I drank a bottle of wine before you picked me up, but I took some Molly too. So that kind of
You were in a great mood
Yeah,
when I
think
saw
it's,
you.
it's stable.
I kind of thought that you were in denial of like everything that happened the day before, and you were just you were trying to make it normal. And then I kind of felt like I was passing you off to
Sam.
yeah to Sam, and really shouldn't have done that fucking Zin before, because these Zins keep fucking up my throat for a while.
Yeah. Like you feel like you have to cough.
I feel like I have to cough pretty hard.
Interesting.
And then almost to a point of gagging.
We love gagging on this pod.
But yeah, so I kind of, after the first day, like I was still worried about you, and I was still unaware of like how serious the situation was. I had found out that you were drinking the day before you had an incident where you fucking got, blacked out, and then found out that
What
night,
day was that?
That was Kill Tony, the day that I found out that you had, like, you were drinking the day before, and then I found out that you had drinking in Ohio when you were up there. So then I don't know. I think I was kind of hoping that it was going to fix itself and that you were going to be able to do it, and then it just there's literally you have to imprison somebody in that situation.
Yeah, kind of, because
you got to hold them hostage against their will. And in Texas, you can't put somebody into a place unless they.
My hope is like, because my plan was do MDMA on New Year's Eve and that's it, and I'm done.
But that's
the New Year. But
there's a term for that called future tripping amongst addicts that I never knew. But Jimmy had filled me in on that, where you go, yes, I will be able to trip on this day, and then this is the last time I'm going to do it. But that just opens up the door for every
balls
day
to the wall
until then.
And that completely ruins your fun plans you had.
Yeah, dude. The Molly is no longer fun. Now it's almost a necessity for you to not feel like complete ass.
No, and Molly doesn't. You can only do it. So I did it 2 weeks before Christmas, and then I came back here and did it because I got drunk, and then when I'm drunk, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to take it, and then take it again the next day. It just stops working because based on how that drug works, it stops working. It's not that you build up a tolerance to it so fast. It's basically you deplete all the serotonin or whatever in your brain that can be used for it, so you just don't feel it.
And then it's just, that's even worse because now you're on a depressant alcohol with no serotonin to be released in your head, and it's just a depressive fucking pit.
Yeah.
But then, so then he hit the wall pretty fucking hard and was worried about his well-being of life.
My water tastes weird.
So then I had to come over here 2 days ago. Ended up calling some help, calling the fucking paramedics and having to get him somewhere else. It was very scary. It wasn't a fun time. If you have anybody who's an addict friend, like, you got to make sure that you do got to keep an eye on them. You do have to. It's extra work as a friendship too. It's just you have to understand what you're dealing with. I was kind of naive at first because I guess I didn't want to really believe that you were having that kind of an issue, having the fucking level of a problem you were having. This feels weird when you're just talking to yourself for a while. But I don't know, man. Addiction is crazy. The other kid, when I had him at the house and we found the bottles, and speaking of like the sneaky shame that you want to keep hidden, this kid just begged us not to tell his parents. Like, that was the whole thing. His girlfriend knew about it, obviously, because she was fucking...
A weird taste in my mouth.
That's fine.
So it's an emergency, which should help.
But that kid, he begged us not to tell his parents, and again, new to the whole dealing with addicts thing, so we agreed as long as he got his shit figured out. Then fast forward to Christmas, and homeboy goes into my bathroom. Now again, I know this fucking guy. He's not a hey, let me help you guys out type of dude. It's like if you're cooking something in the kitchen, he'll finish his plate and leave it on the counter for you. You know, it's not like he's gonna
for you to finish or for you to
clean and like he never does that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's not thinking like they might want to lick this.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to. He never wants to help really. But then he goes into the bathroom. We were all outside. We go into the bathroom, or he goes into the bathroom, and then I'm sitting on the couch. And when he comes out, he has the trash from the bathroom in his hand, and it was full. But then he's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I made a mess in there, dude. I had to clean it up. And it's like, well, okay, well, now I'm thinking poop.
Yeah.
Did you have to wipe poop off of the toilet and put it in there? And he just laughed and threw it away. And I thought that was fucking weird. And I had already seen the sneakiness of having the bottles in the bag and stuff months prior. So then I go out into the trash after he comes back inside. I go outside without him noticing. I go through the bag. And there's White Claw cans in there. There was like 3 White Claws that he stole from my fridge and chugged in the bathroom and threw them away. So then at that point, too, his father and his stepmother were at our house. We were celebrating Christmas. So then we go back we go out back. I take him and I tell him, I was like, you're either going to tell your dad right now or I'm going to tell your fucking dad right now. And even then, we had the whole intervention out there, and even then, he swore up and down that he was going to quit and everything. He was a police officer in Jacksonville, right? A couple months later, I think it was it was a month later. I think it was at the end of January. He ends up getting caught being drunk on the job, getting called on by, like, he was doing extra work at the stadium up there, and some of the people saw him driving into cones. Like, he was driving drunk.
Gosh.
And ends up getting pulled out by one of his guys, and they breathalyze him, and he was hammered, like almost blacked out at work. And the reason why he went in was because he forgot that he had this overtime shit, but he needed to be there or else, like, he'd be penalized. So he felt like, oh, I have to go. Let me try and hold it together. And then, that's when he got fired. And then from that point on, he was sober. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in with that family anymore, but that was the craziest thing to me, too, is like a person who is a police officer is able to sneak by for so long.
Yeah.
The sneakiness of alcoholism is fucking crazy.
Well,
Like,
it's not even fun. It's not fun for anybody.
well,
Not one single part of it is fun.
Yeah, you're not having a good time.
I haven't had fun this past 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
None of it has been fun. I've just been like depressed.
Just continues to trick you.
Just continues to trick me into like, oh, well, at least I can this bump of ketamine or doing MDMA will kind of make me happy for a while, or a drink will help me for a little bit. But it's just preparing you to have just like the worst time ever eventually.
Yeah.
And my term, worst time ever, is going to the psych ward. Psych ward the first time felt needed. This time I really wish I didn't go.
Yeah.
But I needed a detox, but it was just not fun.
Yeah. And it fucking sucks, but that was like the only thing that could help you in that situation. Like, there was nothing else that was going to...
No, and I needed to detox with medically detox.
Yeah. Like, and people needed to be around you to observe you. And, yeah. I mean, I'm happy you're back. It's a thing I can't fucking wrap my head around. I still, like, I know you, I love you, but I can't understand the mindset of an addict, and that's like the whole thing that is with an addict. It's like there's no rhyme or reason. Like, I'm sitting here, I tried to reason with you, a couple of times, and just like, you're not there. It's gone.
Yeah. Where like when you were here and then the boys came?
Before the boys came, so New Year's Eve, I'm at a party and I get told like, hey, Taylor's fucked up again. So I come over here. I was right up the road. I was like 5 minutes away. So I come up just to check on him, and he was just hammered. And I thought you were on Molly because you said you had done it, but you did it earlier that day and it had probably worn off by that point. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you told me you didn't have Molly anymore. You said you did it already. And he goes, all fucked up. He goes, well, I lied to you. Like, just so matter-of-factly. And it seemed like even then you knew like there was nothing could happen. Nothing I could do would help or get you out of that situation. So you were just kind of...
That was New Year's Eve.
That was New Year's Eve. And then New Year's Day, this is where I made a mistake and I felt like I should have... But honestly, it probably wouldn't have changed much. But me and Carly planned on going on a hike on New Year's Day. That Wednesday we ended up going on a hike. And we were contemplating picking you up and taking you with us just to keep an eye on you and make sure you weren't drinking. knowing that when I picked you up to go get your truck that you had drank a bottle of wine before that, you probably would have drank whatever you had here to get those 3 bottles. You probably would have drank one before you fucking came out on the hike with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I would have got you then. But I don't know. I don't know if that was if I should have picked you up, if that would have just prolonged what ended up happening later that day anyway. Because it would have just, you would have, been coming down, you would have had a fucking extreme hangover on this hike. You wouldn't have been fun. I probably just would have fucking dropped you back off here. At that point, I wasn't going through your house. You said, because you said you had no more alcohol on you. And when he was telling me that he had no more alcohol in here was the day that we dropped him off New Year on Monday. We dropped you off on Monday. You said you had no more Molly and no more alcohol in the house. And at that point, you were already saying, like, I don't want to do this anymore. You were saying it there, like, I'm sick of doing this.
The Kill Tony Monday? Yeah.
You were already, like, in that mindset of, like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore.
Yeah.
So then when I'm asking you questions about that kind of stuff, I'm like, he's telling me the truth, because I was just talking to him in the car on the way over, and he was saying that he doesn't want to drink anymore and he doesn't want to do it. So, like, I was expecting you to be like, yeah, here's all the alcohol, if you had any, to be like, take it away from me. I don't want to do it anymore. But then the next day you had more, and then it's so hard too, because it's like you literally have to imprison someone in that situation, because they're just going to get in their fucking car when they can drive, go to the liquor store, buy alcohol, come back home, and then you just have it. It's so accessible, it's so fucking easy that it's like you have to literally pull somebody's human rights away for a while until you're fucking better. But yeah, then when I came back in on Wednesday, when I was like getting all the fucking people here, I went through everything in your house to try and find the alcohol. I am upset that I didn't check the bathroom. I didn't check underneath the fucking sink. But went through the house, removed all weapons, made sure fucking no more alcohol was in here. And then once he was out of the house, I was kind of like, all right, that's over with. Like, we figured it out. We got it. Then it was just worried about like what you were doing.
Going to the hospital?
Yeah, when you were going to the hospital, I felt the guy said, he was like, he's stable. I'll be able to take care of him. Like, he's under our watch now, so like nothing bad is going to happen to him now.
Yeah.
That statement just made me think like, well, fucker, why'd you say that? Now something bad's going to happen because you said nothing was going to happen. But thankfully, nothing bad did happen, and he went and he got fixed up, and you texted me that night asking if I had your car keys and everything once you like weren't fucked up anymore. And then I believe that the next day they transferred you to the
that night I went to the, what time did I go to the hospital?
Wednesday at like 4:35.
Okay, so I went to the hospital, they put an IV in me, put me full of fluids. And then they just said they were looking for a bed for a while. And then I didn't go to the psych ward until like 5 a.m. the next morning. But then they gave me an Ativan at the hospital. And then they gave me another Ativan at the psych ward. And then at the psych ward, I kind of slept until 8 a.m. And then I talked to some doctors.
How did they transfer you?
In an ambulance.
Well, when you went to the psych ward?
Yes.
So you ended up being put into an ambulance because when they came with the ambulance, the guy was like, "Don't put him in an ambulance. We can whatever." But the ambulance riders, the people that drive the ambulance, want to put people in that fucking ambulance.
Yeah. And
they were like, "Are you sure?" Like,
why? Because more money.
Money, yeah, more money. And then,
well, I owe an ambulance money somewhere.
Yeah.
So they took me there to the psych ward and. Checked me in 5 a.m.-ish in that Ativan, and then I went back to sleep, on and off, and then 8 a.m. something, I guess this was yesterday. It's really foggy, because it's like, I wasn't sure if I'd been there for a day already, or how many days I'd been there, so I was there, I was only at the psych ward from early yesterday morning.
From early Thursday morning till today.
And it felt like a lot longer.
Well, you probably called me. You called me Thursday morning, probably after you got done talking to those doctors and stuff, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna put in for my release form. I'm gonna put in to get released today."
Yeah.
But once they do that, like they have 4 hours to determine whether they're gonna let me.
I started doing that paperwork, and the lady I was talking to really convinced me not to, which made sense. But then I did that paperwork again today, which it's like a request to be released, and that then they evaluate it, and then usually they're like, well, they let you go, but they're like, but you're being let go against medical advice, basically.
That's what they said today.
Yeah. So he said, so if because they're not, I wasn't leaving with any medication.
Yeah.
So if I had any, if I started to have more withdrawal effects, if I really started to go into serious DTs or something, they're like, you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah. But you also weren't like, I wonder when your body becomes dependent upon the alcohol, because you had been drinking pretty consistently since you got back.
Yeah, but I don't think it was enough to where, I think I had slight DTs, but I think because I'm not experiencing anything now, any of what I was experiencing. I mean, everyone's different. I think if I drink very heavily over a short period of time, I do get I get shakes and stuff. And it's very unpleasant.
But you also just gorge yourself with alcohol.
Yeah.
You're not sipping light beer. You're not buying a 12-pack of beers.
Right. But then I think, after the first time I thought I was having shakes and stuff, I think it's easier for your body to go into those kind of symptoms again.
Yeah, it's like getting blacked out all the time. It's like now you get blacked off of 3 drinks rather than fucking 7, because your body's like, oh, we're going here already.
But they were giving me Ativan and stuff for alcohol withdrawal, so they must have thought I was going through it at least a little bit.
I mean, yeah, you were not having fun when I saw you on Wednesday. I could tell that your body was in fucking torment.
Yeah.
So I could only that had to be from withdrawals, your head, your nausea, the dizziness. I hate getting so drunk that I get the spins.
Yeah.
And that is a small level of torture to me. So I can only imagine what the fuck you were experiencing.
It just feels what I'm feeling when I'm like that right before you call the police. I'm almost convulsing.
Yeah.
And I can't and it's the biggest level of discomfort I've ever experienced in my life. And I'll have this insane headache that will come out of nowhere and just hurt so bad.
I could tell that was happening.
I have to grab my head and I can't it just hurts so bad. It's I don't know what it is. If that's part of alcohol withdrawal, if that's just you're being poisoned, or it's just your body's response to.
Well, it's probably poison, and also Chardonnay is such a high sugar content.
Yeah,
drinking that.
You think it's that much sugar?
Yeah, dude, it's
going into diabetic.
Well, it's just it's just the hangover becomes worse because it's more of a dehydration. I think if I drink sangria or wine or something of that nature, I get a way worse hangover the next day. I have to drink that stuff lighter because it's going to fuck me the next day hard. So yeah, I could tell that you were going through fucking physical pain.
Yeah.
What it kind of seemed like to me was the real you was in there beating the shit out of yourself.
Yeah.
And just wanted to hatch out a brand new egg.
It was there's a demon inside.
Yeah, for real. And you just kept calling for help.
Yeah.
I was on the phone because I was out of that door. Because I didn't know, I knew you were asking for help and you needed help, and I knew that, but also I didn't know if you were still going to be in that mindset, because you could switch so quickly between being no, I need help, and versus oh, why the fuck are you calling them and all that stuff. I don't know where your switches are.
Yeah.
So I was standing outside, and then I could just hear fucking help, and you were just not having fun.
Yeah.
You were just in agony. And I told the lady on the phone at one point, there was a glass, because I tried to get you to drink water as soon as I came here.
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't drink it. And I left it there, and I was sitting on that chair on the phone. And I was like, he's thrashing, but I could just tell that he's just not comfortable. He's extremely discomfortable. And I was like, I really want to just pour water on his head.
Yeah.
I felt like that might help you.
Yeah.
Just cool you off a little bit. And she was like, well, he's not going to remember, I was like, oh, yeah, probably not. But I didn't pour water on your head. I felt like that'd be cruel.
Just get everything wet.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, there's so many electronics, dude. And imagine I'd pour water on you and electrocute you somehow.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy. But yeah, what a fucking couple of days, man.
Yeah, really, it's just such a bummer too, because when I'm in this state, I even at the beginning of it, it kind of removes me from doing being able to be myself 100%.
Yeah.
Because some people are able to live this way their entire lives and live successful lives and get fucked up a little bit, and maybe maybe they have some substance use disorder, but it doesn't. I'm thinking of some people in particular. It's like they're able to party pretty hard, but it doesn't affect them at all. How come for me, my thing is like whenever I put any substance in my body, it affects like my soul in some way. Like my soul is just gone. It's not in anything.
Yeah.
And it's like I can tell, like in comedy and friendships, I'm just not there.
Yeah.
And it's the most frustrating thing in the world because it's like, it's hard to be like. It's hard to be like that and just know I'm fucking killing my soul. But the only thing my body's telling me to do is ingest something that will make this worse.
Well, I think that's probably part of why your soul's gone is because it is a fight between your brain and your reptile brain.
Yeah.
The part that wants you to drink and then the part that knows that it's wrong, the part that knows that you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't be touching it. Like as you're drinking it, I'm sure that there are flickers of like, what the fuck?
But it's like once a relapse has started, any part of my mind is completely preoccupied by that.
Because you turn it off. Because that will make you feel bad. That's a bad thing. And you're trying to avoid the bad thing.
Yeah.
So you just drink and you turn your soul off because if your soul was on, your soul would be crying.
Yeah.
You'd be fucking thinking about all the bad shit that you're doing right now and how it affects everybody, but you don't want to think about that. You just want to think about, let me get fucked up and feel good for 5 seconds.
And it's just let me get fucked up and then pretend everything's okay. And that's like the worst part is pretending everything is okay and it's not.
Yeah.
And no one else, not really no one else knows that it's not until it's too late.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it takes so much.
That's the loneliest part about the whole thing is like, I could easily solve it and be like, hey, I'm struggling, but then I bet I'd tell you once and then I'd find out a way to fake it back into where I was. I don't know how to turn it off once it started until it comes to this. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the off switch is on that, which is I'm desperately searching for what that is.
I just don't think that there is a switch. Right. I think it's a break glass type of situation that once you break it, it's open, the alarms are going off, and evacuation is needed. Just don't break the fucking glass.
Yeah. But there's no emergency. There's no emergency to break the glass in the first place.
Well, I'm not saying that maybe it's a bad analogy.
No, it's not. I'm saying I am breaking the glass for emergency, but for something that is not an emergency.
Yeah.
What's usually breaking the glass for emergency for me is I'm dissatisfied with my current lot in life. Mm-hmm. Like comedy isn't exactly where I want it to be. My relationship is I'm questioning part of my relationship. I'm questioning like, ooh, am I doing enough of this, enough of that? Mm-hmm. And I that's one of my biggest problems is I'm constantly feeling like I'm not doing enough for any number of reasons. And that's probably why I end up drinking again. Cause I'm like, I feel like I just feel like a failure for no reason. And I shouldn't. No. And that's why I try to do a lot, but then like, it's like never satisfactory to what I don't know what would make me feel
like you don't know the end goal. You're just
like, oh, am I gonna? Is it? Ooh, if I got $1 million, would that satisfy me for a day or two?
Yeah,
but I'll get used to that. And it's like, what is? It's something clearly. I mean, it's an AA thing, but it's something clearly in my soul that's like missing.
Yeah.
And it's like they say in AA, there's like a big God-sized hole in your heart or whatever, and like. I've been filling with alcohol, and that's like the AA thing. But there clearly is and I've gotten stuff out of AA before, but I don't know what it is. It's some spiritual thing that I find glimpse of it sometimes, but then I just lose it, and it's like, because I don't relapse off of anything like reflops. Like when a bunny rabbit relapses. I don't relapse off of like a one sound event. It's always just a period of dissatisfaction and being like, oh, maybe this bump of ketamine will make me feel good. And then it does the next day. I'm like, oh, my depression's cured because of this one bump of ketamine. I'm going to buy a bag of ketamine and also Molly while I'm at it because the guy has it. Mm-hmm. And then it's just off to the races.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that AA provides like the spiritual thing. And I think it's just community. I think it's like being around people that you can feel like not identify with, but you can relate to in certain instances and certain things. And because it's like, imagine me sitting here and telling you everything that you need to do. I have no idea what the fuck you go through. You know what I mean? Like hearing something from me when you're in a bad mindset is just like, well, what the fuck do you know?
Yeah.
Who are you to tell me what to do? You don't know what I'm dealing
And I don't
with.
know what the fuck anybody knows. It's sometimes it's not,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like there's not a solution sometimes.
It's
And I know they say there is in AA, but I tried it for a while and I went through all the steps and I never sponsored anyone. And I think that is the thing I need to do. But it's like, I don't know. I lost so much interest in AA. And
yeah, I tried to. Do you know that I tried to suggest AA to you? On a New Year's Eve, I sit down next to you and I go, buddy, this is it. This is the end. We're going to a fucking meeting tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, to AA? And I was like, yeah. And you go, no, that's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, no shit. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I wish you had, I have a complacency problem almost. The exact opposite, where I live my life. I just do. I just am, because everything about my life has been out of my fucking control other than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I want is to be happy and to live life. I don't want to fucking be dragged down by just the thoughts of like, am I doing enough or blah, blah, blah. Like, thank God I love comedy so much that I feel constantly energized and determined to do it over and over again. Because like with MMA or with martial arts, when I first started, like that was my life. That's all I did. All I did was train and know this. But then I became resentful for it because it was so fucking hard. It was just constantly putting my body through shit. So I wouldn't go to the gym for days, and then I'd feel guilty about not going to the gym, and then I would stay away from the gym because I didn't want to see those guys and I have to face the whole I've been missing this. And then I'd go back and I'd have so much fun and I'd feel good again. And then the next day I'd just be sore because I took so much time off of doing it that my body was just broken down. And then it was a cycle like that. And that was my dream, was to be a fighter, but I just kept procrastinating and pushing it off and not really going after it and just working. And I didn't feel depressed about not achieving things. I felt more depressed about like I had this thing that I could have done very well and I just let it slip away because I was lazy. But I wasn't necessarily lazy. I had worked my ass off for so long fucking doing it that it was just like I was burnt out. I didn't want to do it anymore. I was getting old and whatever. Comedy I've never had that problem. So there's times where like when I first moved here and after, you get that first glimpse of like, oh, I'm a new face in town. And then you're just another Austin comic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hit people up. I wouldn't go to get booked. I wasn't going out. I would come home from work and then I'd stay home and like, I didn't care. I was just fine with not doing anything. So I've purposely made it a point to try and fucking force myself to do shit and get it and try and get spots and be out and be around people. But I have the exact opposite where it's like I don't ever feel pressure to do anything because like I don't have pressure from anywhere other than myself. Like I don't have a parent I have to make proud. I don't have a person that I have to support. I don't have to provide for a kid. So it's like, what the fuck do I have to worry about? I'm just doing my thing. Yeah. I think a little bit of that for you would be like, it's like peace. Like it would just be peace for you. Like just to fucking.
That's the thing for me. There's not a lot of peace in my head.
Yeah. Which is crazy because you're like one of the like most not uppity, but like happy, silly fucking guys, and it's like for you to not have peace in your head is baffling.
Right. Well, maybe that's kind of like what maybe like Robin Williams was feeling.
Same. Yeah. Probably.
And I'm not comparing myself to Robin.
You just compared yourself to Robin Williams. You just did it. But it's like, dude, I mean, it's never going to stop. The problem's never going to stop. It's never going to not be something that you have to think about.
Right.
You always got to think about it. And that sucks ass. But that's a way less of a punishment than dealing with what you've had to deal with the past couple of days, physically and mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, this sucks a lot more.
Yeah, so it's
There's some saying, I want to see if I can find it.
2 birds, 1 stone.
It's the alphabet.
Yeah, there's a saying called ABC, D, E, F.
really want to read it because it's super. I don't know if I'm going to find it quick enough for the amount of dead space this is going to put in.
I mean, you can take up some more editing.
I could take up some more editing. I don't think I'm going to find it.
What's the gist?
The gist is just why like alcoholics are so heartbreaking or something. I can't find it. But it's just like it's basically like it's just heartbreaking for everyone involved.
It is. Seeing you that day was like fucking. It was bad for me. I'm not making it about me, but it's just like when you fucking care for someone and then you can't do anything and you just see and like Taylor was struggling with thoughts of suicide and coming in and fucking seeing the thoughts. Like you can see where his head was at because there's a fucking gun on the counter. And there's nothing in it. There was nothing in it, but it was sitting there. And it's so close. It was so fucking close. So fucking close. That it's like, it makes me feel for you because like for you to feel any way that you want to fucking end your life is terrible. I would not wish that on anybody. I wouldn't want anybody to feel like this isn't the fucking place for them and that you have nothing to live for. And I would never have guessed meeting Taylor for the first time and having conversations and having fun with him. I would have never guessed that he would be the kind of guy who would feel sad like that. And it puts everything in perspective. Like you got to fucking make sure people that you care about know that you care about them and never fucking relent. Never fucking relent with that shit. Cause at any point in time they can make a rash decision. And that was the toughest part. For me, I realized how fucking serious the problem was, and like, thank God that I was fucking here. Thank God that Sam was here for you. Thank God that everybody around you cares.
Well, that's what the past few times has, because last time I went to the psych ward and this time too, I guess, because that's like, eventually it's so painful that just like physically and mentally, I just don't want to keep putting myself through it. I'm like, the only thought is like, oh, I should just kill myself because this sucks so much. And it's not more like, I don't want to die. It's more of the fact that I can't imagine doing that too. My mom a lot, my brothers, my Billy, just anyone in my life. I can't imagine what that would do to them. So it's just, that's really the only thing that keeps me from doing it. And it's just, I think the heartbreaking thing with this whole thing is like, when it gets this bad, when it gets to me nearly killing myself, the thought of relapsing again is just maddening. And I guess that's the heartbreaking thing is, at some point, I'm willing to put myself through this again, even though I have a lot of good people around me.
I guess the silver lining in that whole situation, though, is that because things were good for so long, like you put on a good streak of good behavior, that your brain is able to be like, hey, you can do it again. You know?
That's the trick.
That's a terrible trick. But the silver lining in it is that you were already doing it. You already did conquer it for how long, that like your brain is able to trick itself again. Now, I think there has to be an anchor. There has to be something that pulls you back.
Because the anchor for me is never like, oh, this sucks so bad, I'm never going to do it again. My track record has never worked that way. And so many people that have listened to this podcast have seen me in this place before. I've never done one right when I've gotten back from the psych ward, but
I
think
you have to find something.
I gotta do something different.
I don't know what it is, like if it's a fucking mantra or if it's like even an image of fucking people or whatever it can be that just like reminds you of this, reminds you of the shit, reminds you of where it leads.
Yeah,
that just keeps you, because like I knew you were doing ketamine and Molly before, and me and you talked about it at Creek, where I was just like, dude, that's not good. Like, you can't be what are you fucking, you told me you were on Molly, and I was like, you can't be doing that. Like,
yeah.
And you're like, no, it's fine. It's when I drink that I have a problem.
Yeah.
The drinking is the problem. And I remember just because Me personally, I'm not an addict, but I do drugs. I'll do mushrooms. I do cocaine. I drink. And to be in my position, it's like I have absolutely nothing to stand on talking to someone about sobriety when I can do my drugs and I don't think they're bad. It's hard for my brain because I'm a very logical person. It's just like I can't make it make sense of like, how come I can do mushrooms and how come I can feel fine and he can't do mushrooms? Mushrooms don't seem like that's a bad thing to me.
Yeah.
What seems like a bad thing is alcohol and fucking cocaine and like these higher things. So it's like when he's telling me he's doing psychedelics as mushrooms or Molly, or even ketamine, it's like it's in a gray area for people like me because it's like, well, it's not a full relapse. It's maybe he's going to find an answer in there somewhere, maybe. Because that's how people like me do it. I'll do mushrooms to fucking get to know myself a little bit better or just, be a little silly and fucking feel better about life. So then it's like, well, maybe if he's doing it, maybe.
I think if I do mushrooms at this point, it would be very scary.
Oh, yeah. You'd probably hate yourself. You'd
It'd
fucking.
be very scary. I have no desire to do that right now.
But then, so that's like the whole thing. Talking to him, I told him, I was like, dude, like, you get one fuck up. You get one fuck up before I turn into an asshole, and then I end up having to be a controlling friend, and, that was this. I haven't let him be alone since I fucking picked him up, and I don't want to. I fucking really don't want to, and I know that you're fine. I know that you're okay right now. But it's like you are the only thing that can control your outcome. But, like, I don't want to leave it in your fucking hands anymore. Right. I told you on the New Year's Eve, I was upset and I was yelling at him, and thank God he doesn't fucking remember because I felt really bad. But like, I told you, like, I was like, this is the fucking worst thing for me to fucking see. And I told her, I was like, this is, now you've fucked my life because now I have to do this. I have to be here for you. I have to, because you can't do it. And I meant it. I was like, I told you before I fucking left. I was like, I'm not fucking going anywhere, buddy. Like, you're not going to get away from this shit. Like, I'm not going to let you continue to fucking do this shit to yourself. And, I need to stop crying. Fuck you for making me cry.
In front of people.
In front of everybody. All the millions watching at home. But it was hard for me to... Even then, I knew it was wrong for him to be doing the ketamine and all that shit. But again, he's a human. He's a fucking adult. And it's like, how can you control someone? I'm not your family. I'm not someone that can grab you by the back of your fucking neck and say, get the fucking side. Like... So... But now it's no more. Now it is no more. The sneakiness, everything is gone. And
I don't know if this podcast was a good thing in the first place. Maybe it is for. I don't want it to be like, oh, feel bad for Taylor. I don't know what I want it to be. Maybe just like
nobody's gonna feel bad.
I don't know. This shit's very complicated, and that's my thing. That they'll just think this is embarrassing that I did this or something.
No, like here's the thing, dude. The reason why I was like kind of okay with doing this podcast is because in my head, I think it's. You've done it before where like you've talked about it on the pod and you've kind of like glossed over it or you've pushed past it and you didn't really want to get into too much of it and everything. And I think that like this is an extension of your life. Whether or not this fucking gets you famous or this blows up, nobody cares. This is an extension of your life. Yeah. This is you talking and
I just want
being honest about the whole situation.
I know there's a few people that have been with it for a while, even if they make it this far. I don't know if I've ever what's the thing with gravity? I don't know if I've ever made clear the gravity of the situation, but it's just very serious and it could lead to me dying, and no one wants that, but it is that serious. And it's easy to joke and stuff on this podcast, but and I think that goes along with my just low self-esteem and stuff, and I just don't want people to feel I just don't want to be a burden to people. And I just want everyone to have a good time. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's just low self-worth or whatever. And then I just get in my head about like, oh, just get with like societal stuff where it's like, oh, you're a white man or whatever. It just doesn't, just bullshit that doesn't matter. I know everyone goes through stuff like this. Every single person on the earth. So it's like, why am I so special? I don't know, but maybe it just brings attention to it. That's like
nothing else. This is my thing.
Right.
Nothing else fucking matters other than what you're dealing with, and to put it into any exponential problem of like, oh, I'm a white guy, or I have a family.
It's not even specific that.
I know, but just saying like you have a family, and you know that I don't. That doesn't make you fucking less valuable or less worth dealing with these problems because you have, I have this support system. I shouldn't have to deal with it. Dude, everybody has their own fucking thing. Yeah. I shouldn't have gotten molested as a kid. Yeah. It fucking happened. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Now you gotta tell that whole story.
Well, all right. So it was a no.
I guess to say that if anyone is struggling with specifically what I am struggling with, always feel free to reach out because I oftentimes feel the most lost in this ever. The most lost in this of anything in my life. I feel very, it's a disease that makes you feel very alone and like there's no solution to it, or like the only solution is putting a gun in your mouth and killing yourself because nothing else makes sense. And that's not the solution, but it's just like, it's such a maddening, I mean, going back to AA, but it's like cunning, baffling, and powerful because there's no end, no matter what. It's something I will have to deal with my entire life. And sometimes I don't fucking want that. That's unfair.
It is unfair. It does suck. But, I mean, like, you are valuable. Everybody values you. We all care a lot. And, I mean, dude, like, how long? We haven't been friends that fucking long. This is crazy. It's like, I know, and this is gay, but I know when I meet people, if I like them, and if I like you, I will do anything for you. I like, truly. I don't like bad people. I don't fuck around with bad people. I don't fuck with bad souls. Or bad hearts. Like if you don't have those things, then it's like you're not my friend. And all of my friends, I will do anything for them in my life, in my power. I will do that because like, I hope they would do the same thing for me. That's what friends are for. And friends are all that I have. So like I treat my friends like family, and it's like, you are valued. You are you're worth it. You're worth all of this. And I know that I say like my life is ruined because you're doing this. It's as long as you're not drinking, you are not a burden. If you call me and you're telling me, hey, I'm having thoughts of fucking drinking, or I'm having that's like a release for me. That's like a weight off of my fucking shoulders because all right, now I'm a little bit in his head. I'm here. I'm here with him. The part where it is a burden, where it fucking weighs me down, is when it's like after the fact, you were hurting for so long that you didn't reach out, you didn't express it, and I wasn't able to help. That's the burden. The burden is in the aftermath. It's not in the helping or in the making sure that you are better. Mm-hmm. That is the part that I want to do. Like I want to be there for you to do that, because if you,
I mean, that's what friends are for, basically.
Yeah. If you remove that ability from me, I'm powerless, and then I'm just a bystander watching you kill yourself. Yeah. And that's the shit.
I think there's some kind of disconnect for me of like, sometimes there's just not a connect for me of like, oh, there's this friend, you can call them. I'm so, just like anyone, I'm just not scared to call, but it's just a feeling of like, it feels embarrassing for me to call if I'm struggling.
I get that. I can understand that.
And I don't know what that is about me.
Well, men don't want
help.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do everything myself.
Yeah.
I want to become rich and famous and successful myself.
Exactly. And I feel like that's every man that's like us is like that. Fucking shut up, deal with it, and just go and keep your head down, and eventually it'll figure itself out, or you'll figure it out. But it's like, that's old school thought processes. That's my father's thought process, and it didn't really help him much. So it's like, I learned from watching destructive behaviors happen in front of me and learning not to do that, do the exact opposite. So it's like, it's fun to fucking call shit like this gay. It's fun to be like, oh, what are you doing? Sitting in a room crying together, fags? But it's not, that's not what it is. That's
not what it is.
It's fucking humans helping humans.
Yeah.
and we got to put that macho bullshit aside. It's pride and it's ego. Oh.
Well, guys, I don't know. Yeah, feel free to reach out if anyone is struggling. There are a lot of resources and stuff. I don't know what to do to put them on the screen. There's a way, but you can always message me on Instagram if you are. Message Billy too. He'll mostly message Billy. He's but yeah, this is serious stuff. Sorry, we cried a bunch, and this was a sad, not fun podcast, but. I think it's maybe good to put out there. I don't know. Maybe
I think it's important. You know what? It kind of Brody Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know him. Obviously.
Yeah.
I knew him as like an observer.
Right.
And then seeing how he affected people, I think, is how you affect people. You make everything lighter and more fun and silly, and like it's a ball to have you around. And seeing that kind of like that whole thing, it's like I bet you all of those motherfuckers wish they could go back and be there a little bit more for that guy.
Yeah.
And that's just what I was thinking about that after you left. I was like, damn, dude, he could have been one of those guys. Like he could if you are struggling, reach out to Taylor. Talk to him. You can reach out to me too. B_Swift comedy on Instagram. But also
because that's not killing yourself is not. That will cause way more pain than there was in the first place.
And if you don't want to be a burden,
I've never killed myself, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but I can't speak from experience. It's very sad. I mean, I would be decimated if any one of my friends killed themselves. It's not any solution that anyone should go through with. Even though it feels it's a temporary solution to a very then primary, it just would leave a hole in so many people.
It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah. That's what I switched it. So don't do the one I said. Say the one Billy said.
But then also, if you are friends with someone who at any time struggles and has any kind of inclination to be down in the dumps, it doesn't cost you anything to be a good friend. It doesn't, anything that you fucking think takes place over checking in on your friends is not valuable. Fucking do the hard work because they would do the same for you, I hope. Yeah, dude. And if you're a comic and you're watching this and you say anything about me fucking crying on camera, I will beat the living shit out of you.
Yeah, if you're a comic and you're watching, you shouldn't have watched. You should stop watching half the episode ago. This isn't for you. This is strictly for Noob Assassin.
Noob Assassin, dude.
And all the girls that watch.
There are girls that watch it?
I hope at least one girl watches.
Carly will probably watch it.
She might, yeah. Some people will watch this one.
Well, hey, I love you.
Should we say something funny before I love you?
No, I love you.
Thank you.
That's not funny, but I love you very much.
Love you very much.
And I don't know. I'm not really a funny guy. You
Right
know?
now?
No, not really.
We can come up with one funny thing. Before.
I will tell you this though. Since you fucking got put into the psych ward, I felt so at ease.
Really?
Because you were finally there.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt worried of like fucking what's going on with him in there, but ultimately I was like, I know he's gonna be fine. He's gonna get taken care of. So then I wrote like 5 new jokes one night, just walking around talking to people and having a good time. And I felt fucking good to write some good jokes.
Yeah, you were worried they were doing experiments on me or something.
Well, yeah, I was worried you were going to come back and it wasn't you, and it was just going to be a clone of you that didn't have any alcohol problems and was the fucking rounded SpongeBob.
I just want to get back to the energy I had. Let's see, like when I went to the psych ward the first time here in September. In between then and like when I first got here, the energy I had of being excited for being here, and then when I got out of the psych ward, and then just there's this period of time where I'm completely sober, nothing in my body, where my productivity level or my like confidence in my comedy and just like being funny and like just riffing in situations is at an all-time high. And I think that's one of the saddest things for me is that gets taken away. And then I'm faking to be at that level again. Yeah. And it's exhausting to try to like just like be in a conversation with someone and be like, I'm not even being like 100% me right now.
And you know, this is the craziest part to me is that the solution is the fucking easiest one. Like the solution for all of that problem, for you to be in that mind space, to be there naturally and not have to do it, to not feel physically fucking shitty, to not feel depressed, the solution is just don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part to me, is that it's such an easy solution, but it's such a hard problem. It's such a hard thing for you to fucking deal with, because it has to be that enticing, or it has to be that controlling in order for it to take away the easiest solution from you. Because everything that you want would be here if you just didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like
Most of the stuff I want is here.
Exactly. And it's like you could experience it and you could be enjoying it and you could be loving it, as long as you just don't do the one thing of drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
I like how I named plurals for the one thing. But yes, those things. Just drink coffee, smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. Maybe no cigarettes.
Maybe no cigarettes, but
Maybe more push-ups, jumping jack.
there you go. Work out. Get some dopamine naturally released. Get fucking nice and swollen. Look at yourself in the mirror. Get high off of that.
I'm working on it.
And get your fucking chest hair out.
All right, that's an hour of this.
Yeah.
God, thanks for listening, guys. Love you. I'm okay.
He's okay, and
Everything's okay.
will make sure he
I
stays
hope-
okay.
I hope you're all okay. I hope everyone's okay today.
Did you record a podcast since Christmas?
No.
Well, tell him Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Be rude.
Merry Christmas. I'm alive.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
We're going to start this fucking year off right.
Next one might have a very special guest. Still figuring that out, but thank you for listening. Sorry this one was not your typical, but maybe this will be a good one. Who knows? Let me know. I'm going to post it because we made it.
Yep.
Thank you, Billy.
Yes, sir.
Love you.
Anytime. Love
I
you
appreciate
too,
it. It's what friends are for. They're they're for a lot, and you don't. It's nice to know when you have friends. It's helpful. Friends are helpful. So, thank you. Bye bye. I'm cutting it off.
buddy. Adios.